Hello there, my name is Artie, and welcome back to Thing of the Month, where at the end of each month I'll discuss whatever game, series, album, or some other thing I enjoyed most that month. This month it's Kingdom 2 Crowns, the side-scrolling tower defense game from Stumpy, Squid, and Raw Fury. I've been playing Kingdom 2 Crowns for ages now, and the Kingdom series as a whole for even longer. I absolutely love all of the games, this one especially, but I'm only talking about it here now because I got super into it recently, finishing the game again and starting on the Shogun expansion. Without further ado, let's talk gameplay. Kingdom 2 Crowns, at its core, is a micro-strategy tower defense game, where you simply build up your kingdom in order to protect it from these little purple buggers, the greed, with your main goal throughout the game being to secure all 5 islands, defeating the greed on each one. It's so much more than that though. I'll start with citizens. Using coins, you can recruit vagrants at camps in the forests, transforming them into citizens which will serve your kingdom. You can then use more coins to buy tools, which will give them roles. Hammers create builders, which build and repair walls and towers and operate some weapons. Bows create archers, which hunt to collect money during the day and defend the kingdom at night. Scythes create farmers, which generate income over time. Spears create pikemen, which fish during the day and defend the kingdom during the night. And shields create warriors, which can lead an army to destroy the portals that the greed come from. As you can see, there really aren't that many different classes, but the simplicity here works to the game's advantage. Instead of having to manage tens of different classes of units, you've just got a trusty handful which do everything you need them to. So, throughout the game, you'll be managing your kingdom's resources, i.e. the money in your purse, to try and maximise your defensive capabilities at night. You really need to carefully decide on what to spend all your money on, as it can be a pretty scarce resource at times, especially in the winter later on in the game. As days go by, you'll need to continue strengthening your defences as the nightly greed waves become bigger and bigger, introducing new enemies and in larger numbers. The only way to stop these ever-growing waves is either to travel to another island or mount an attack on the greed and clear the island. Whilst Kingdom 2 Crowns isn't the most difficult game ever, it definitely provides a fun challenge that you'll probably end up failing a few times before you actually get to the end. I think the resource management aspect of the game works really well, especially when it comes to other resources like gems, which are far rarer and in more limited quantity. You'll naturally find gems as you explore, but if you lose any to the greed, that gem will be lost until either you die or you defeat the greed on that island. This adds a good amount of challenge if you're trying to beat the game without dying, as it forces you to prepare more than you would without gems, pushing your abilities at resource management just enough so that it isn't unfair, but it's still really fun. As for those gems, you can use them to buy a whole heap of stuff that you can't do with coins. Hermits, which unlock new structures like the ballista, mounts, which have different speeds, staminas and abilities, and statues, which empower specific classes. These power-ups definitely add a lot to the game, and like I said, it would be noticeably harder without them, whilst not being impossible to beat. My personal favourites of these are the different mounts. It's really fun being able to experiment with new ones that you find, figuring out their hidden abilities and the like. The progression of the game is amazing too. As soon as you unlock the ability to hire warriors on the second island, you can immediately start attacking greed portals. Whilst it's bloody difficult, it's possible to take out all of the portals on an island this early into the game. That would be boring though, so to add some extra challenge, one of the portals will regenerate itself over time, meaning you'll either need to keep destroying it temporarily, or destroy it permanently by coming back to that island after unlocking the bomb on the 4th island. Whilst I'm usually against backtracking in video games, which is half the reason I don't play Metroidvanias, it works really well here because there's so much more to do upon backtracking. By the time you've defeated the greed and headed back to the first island, you'll be able to upgrade everything there in a really satisfying way as you start ploughing through the greed's defences. There's also a number of DLC to the game, the Norselands and Call of Olympus ones, to name the more recent additions. These add a lot of new gameplay features, which seem very interesting, and whilst I haven't played either of the two new ones, I have played a bit of Shogun, which is mostly a graphical overhaul, but adds a new faction to replace pikemen, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. There's so much more I could talk about here. Whilst, like I said, the game has a super simple concept, there are so many smaller features and niche strategies that Two Crowns lends itself to. I could go on for hours about how every single element of the game interacts with each other, but quite frankly, I don't have the time to edit that, so let's move on and talk about the vibes of the game. Now, usually I'd talk about plot here, but Two Crowns lacks much in the way of a cohesive plot. This isn't necessarily a bad thing though, and the more open-ended story in fact complements the game in a lot of ways, adding to its replay value. The main thing I wanted to talk about in place of plot though is Kingdom Two Crowns' vibes, which are amazing. First of all, look at this pixel art. Look at it. It is gorgeous. Everyone I've shown this to has been as dumbfounded as I was when I opened up the game for the first time. I mean, I thought the art in the previous two entries, Classic and New Lands, was pretty good, but my mouth literally dropped to the floor when I initially booted Two Crowns. The artists did an absolutely amazing job at creating this breathtaking world, and there are so many little features I could just go on about. The flowing ocean at the bottom of the screen with its reflections and little animations that make it feel alive. The enormous monuments in the background which just make you so curious about what they are and how they got there. The torches which blow in the wind and give off smoke. It's all just so pretty. And the soundtrack, holy crap, composed by Amos Roddy with DLC tracks composed by Andreas Hold, Gustav Lundgren, Peter J. Norgard and Kalandra, whose names I definitely all pronounced completely wrong. It fits the game so perfectly, with its beautiful melodies that capture exactly the kind of feel the game is going for, and even complement specific events like Blood Moons. A lot of it reminds me of C418's music for Minecraft, which we all know is easily one of the best video game soundtracks out there. Again, I could gush about this game's art and music for ages, but I think it's about time for a conclusion. Overall, Kingdom Two Crowns is an amazing game, with spectacular, diverse and unique gameplay and absolutely impeccable vibes thanks to its gorgeous visuals and beautiful soundtrack. Hence why it's my thing of the month. Thanks for watching. I know this one was a bit shorter, but I've got a lot of stuff I'm getting ready for in the coming month, including the 3rd annual Thing of the Year awards and a huge site overhaul of content unavailable, where you can go now to see the latest Thing of the Week blog post. Link is in the description. In the meantime though, thanks for watching, and I will see you at some point in the future. Goodbye.